All right. Not bad, not bad. Blend this. So there's a couple things here I have to figure out, like these little spots here. I don't know what those are, so maybe people can comment. I don't know if that's an impurity in like the prep work or something, but definitely something that I need to look into. Yeah, see, like, I don't know what that is.
It's not the can spitting, is it?
Uh-uh. Doesn't it spray really well?
It's amazing.
You would never know this is a $7 can of paint from Lowe's. And I'll buy a $20 can from AutoZone, and it sprays like shit.
And you can change the nozzle.
Yeah. Look at that.
Wow.
That's not bad.
No.
For just a cheap can of paint. Like, RustOleum for the win. Yeah, that's not bad. I've changed my mind. No, I'm not going to change the color. It will still be orange. Though, I did consider going white because I thought it looked pretty interesting. But we're still going to move forward with orange. Now, here's where we're at, right? So, up to this point, I started painting the car orange. And I did so with the RustOleum paint. Mainly probably because I like the nozzle. I think the nozzles are amazing. But the problem is I used his twice. I'm not confident that once the RustOleum paint is put onto the primer, that it is the best substrate for the vinyl. I don't know, right? So on the bonnet, the gray RustOleum paint didn't work, right? I'm sure you can probably see over here that the bonnet is primered. So what I did was I put the car out and let it really soak up this Arizona 100-degree-plus days. And after a couple weeks, I tried removing that vinyl patch to another spot just to test and see what it looked like. And guess what? It pulled up the paint. Now, I think I made the primer too slick by wet sanding with 600. I think it was way too slick. I think probably 400 or 320 or something like that probably would have been just fine. But the primer I used on the side of the car was substantially different than over here, and I think there was really good adhesion with the orange. Now, I'm not confident that even the orange with it on the better primer and primered surface is still the best surface. I think ultimately, probably I would need to clear everything with like a 2K clear and make sure it's really, really strong. The problem with this RustOleum paint is it's still very sensitive to like scratching and potentially flaking. I don't know if I like that idea. The primer, however, is not. So what I've done, and you can see already in the background, is the majority of the driver's side of the car is primered. I think what we're gonna do, and I was talking to a paint and body guy yesterday, is get this body smooth as possible. So we're gonna primer seal over this. And he was talking to me about maybe wet sand it to the point where it's like glossy, right? To the point where we could even buff it out and give it that nice glossy finish for the vinyl to stick. I think that's what we're gonna do. I've seen plenty of people who have primered their cars or taken at least the paint off, the paint in the clear, and have had success. There's so many mixed reviews online. It's where it's really difficult. But I think I'm gonna make the executive decision, and correct me if I am wrong, but I think I'm gonna stick with a primered surface. And also, why I think this could be a good idea is when I decide to remove the vinyl in 2 years or 3 years, depending on what the heat does to the vinyl here in Arizona, is at least it's a good prepped surface if I do indeed want to paint the car or, you know, send it out or something like that. I think that could be a good idea. So that's what we're gonna do. So in this video, we're gonna continue removing this orange paint. We're gonna move over to a primer sealer, sand it all down. That'll be ready, and then we're gonna move over to the other side and we're gonna scuff and sand and polish as necessary the passenger side. And then I need to order some vinyl, guys. I need to get it out here. I think we need some inspiration. We need some excitement in the video series where we need to see something in orange, right? Instead of primer. It's exhausting, right? And nobody wants to see me constantly sanding and priming and all these other things, right? I think we're getting to a point where once this off gases, and it's still really hot, so we're gonna park the car outside and let the heat do its job to help with the off gassing. But I think we need to get some vinyl onto the bonnet here and then onto the fender. What's nice with the fender is it's already painted and cleared, and we're not gonna touch that. So we can actually apply vinyl to that with no problem. But I think we wanna see like some progression, right? Like some progress with this. And I want to get the car out, right? I'm hoping with fall on its way that we can get out and drive this car. So stay tuned, keep watching. Also, I need to get with Isaac and we need to start fitting these IS side skirts, right? So I think once all this is primered, we can get the car up in the air and we can start really fiddling and trying to get the side skirts fitted. Once the side skirts are fitted and we can mount them, then we're definitely making some progress. So I hope in a few more videos or so, we're done with all the prep. Vinyl will be here. I was hoping there'd be a Labor Day sale. I don't think there's gonna be a Labor Day sale on what I'm looking for, unfortunately, and I don't know that I wanna wait till November. I don't think you guys want me to wait till then either. That's kind of boring. But once those side skirts are done, then we're in a good spot to just make a ton of progress with this car. So I'm gonna flip the camera around. We'll move over to the orange. I'll do the horrendous job of removing that orange paint. It actually sucks. And then we'll get it all cleaned up, degreased multiple times, because what I learned was those little dots in the paint when I was painting and stuff, I think those are called fish eyes, and fish eyes, I think, are a result of improper prep. What I think happened was the citrus sprayer, I think it's got an oil in it of sorts, right? And I was also using like Goo Gone as necessary, was I wasn't getting all that out of the primer, right? Or out of that base, right? So it needs a strong solvent base to get all of that out, plenty of alcohol wiping to make sure that there's no impurities, and then we can lay down paint. So I think that's what that was. Fish eyes were a result of like oil left over in the body work, and it was kind of pushing through in the paint as I was painting. So something interesting. All right, let's get going.
This is the look of frustration, and let me tell you why. So if you look at the car, you're probably asking yourself, why is the orange covered with plastic? And let me tell you why. So it gets even worse. Why is there white and orange? So what I did was I stripped this and I covered this with that thick paper over there instead of plastic. And what do you think happened? It leached in and it peeled the paint. But what's difficult is this RustOleum paint, it's a gloss paint, and it's not like regular automotive paint where if I make an error, I can easily scuff everything and blend it back in. No, no, not this kind of paint. I decided, and I think I'm probably right, it's easier just to remove all the paint chemically from there and start over. I think that's gonna be the easiest thing instead of trying to blend this like rubberiness. That's just not gonna work. So that's what I'm gonna do. So when I come back, you'll see hopefully the primered surface, and then from there, maybe I'll start filming because I know it can get kind of boring. I'm not trying to bore everybody with all these boring pieces, but had I done this from the start, I wouldn't be doing this. It's stupid me. But I learned, it is what it is. We're gonna get this fixed. We're also gonna get that taken care of as well because the vinyl, the samples that I got, those ripped up the paint from the primer. Now what I learned from that was that the primer that I used, I just basically stuck it to the BMW primer, which was super slick, and I think it's too slick for the paint to properly adhere. The primer that I've been using with like a 400 grit is working perfect, and it's tacky and like kind of gritty enough that the paint is kind of really latching on. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna get that painted, but none of this, none of that, nor this, nor that is gonna get done until we can basically paint this whole thing all the way over. There's really not a whole lot here that we're gonna paint. We're gonna fix some of this. We're gonna fix a little bit down here. Windshield will come out, of course, before we do all the orange paint. That'll need to be fixed. That's actually from the windshield people. They did that. It is what it is, I suppose. I told them it's not a big deal because all of it's coming off. But we're not gonna do any painting until I can spray this. I can spray that. We're not gonna spray that because that's all gonna be covered. We're just gonna blend into here, clean all this up real good, fix all this edge work here. We'll paint that as well. This will get painted, and then we should be in a good spot. Ugh. All right, you guys know you want to see an update. Damn! All right, so that's like 10 minutes of sitting and scraping. Not that big of a deal. Is it messy? Hell yeah, it's messy. Look at that, just strips it right off. I should have that, hopefully this all cleaned up and ready in the next half hour. I hope. All right guys, 10 more minutes or 15 more minutes and it looks like a disaster. It's gonna take some more. Yeah, it's just gonna take more. It sucks. It is what it is. Boom! All right, guys. Man, is the lens dirty? All right. Oh, that does look better all of a sudden. That's where we're at. Damn, this sucks. I hate painting with a passion. If I had the money, I'd send this out. Never touch it. I really have zero patience for painting. But it's at least fairly well fixed. So that when we spray this, which we can do separately from that door. As you can see, we can spray here to here, up on these C-pillars around this frame, figure out how to blend up there. Yeah, it's looking a lot better. All right, so, at least it was cool to see the orange. Not gonna lie, I'm sure you guys agree as well. Yeah, so this here I think can cause fish eyes, right? That's bad news. We're also gonna remove the orange from here. Also, what's interesting is down here, this had been painted over at some time, and the paint was actually removing. Look at this. Let me see. Yeah, look at that. I'm able to remove the black, so the whole thing's been a shit show. Whoever had it before me took every absolute shortcut possible, and it's made things just so damn difficult. That's okay. I enjoy the project, enjoy the challenge. Oh, that's gonna look great down there. Oh, I'm getting so close. When I did that side yesterday, it actually took a little bit of work. It didn't come off easily.
careful with the scraper and how hard I push, because I don't want to go digging into it. Now, some of it, of course, obviously it's covered up by primer. You can't really see it right now, but I know it's there. I just want to be careful that I don't go digging into it, because it's right around here somewhere, and then there might be some there as well. Yeah, see, it's not an easy, like, just pull it right off kind of thing. More product, it'll bubble it right off much easier. I gotta think, like, it's another $15 a trip out to Ace Hardware. Like, will that make my life easier? Because it's like 40 minutes back and forth, plus the time it takes for this to bubble up and stuff, versus the time that I'm just spending just scraping and scraping and scraping. What makes more sense, right? Like the opportunity cost of this. But at least what I can do is just keep working to get, see, it's nice when it comes off like that. That's ideal. When we can just get it off like that. That is always preferable. Strip this off, because I really don't want the paint on the, maybe I'll leave it, see, look at that, like, I peeled it right off. I don't think it's a good idea. And that was just masking tape. So that kind of proves my point. I don't think it's a good paint for this setup. I think we're better to go this, polish it real good, and leave it at that. Because look, I removed that with tape. Look,
that's your orange. So wait, hang on. Let me get the new plan straight. So you're not doing the orange paint?
No, I'm just leaving it primer. And I'm gonna put a primer sealer on it, which basically will smooth it out and make it not porous, so that I can kind of polish it down. But that's my point here, is I don't think it's a good idea that it's when, if Isaac and I go to lay down and it pulls back up and I wasted a $50 or $60 piece of vinyl, I'm gonna be really upset. I know I'm not gonna pull the paint up on this.
Yeah.
But that concerns me. Stuff like that worries me.
So will you have to clear over that, or what's your...
I'm just gonna leave it like that. Huh. I mean, not like this. It'll be much shinier and smoother than that.
So one or two kinds of primer?
A base primer and then a primer sealer.
Got it.
Because the base primer will help me kind of smooth out the whole body, and then the primer sealer goes on top. It's like a, what would it be for nails? Like a gel coat on top, sure. Or whatever the heck, I don't know, whatever that clear stuff is. But it's not, the clear stuff equivalent would be clear. Clear. But we're not doing it clear. It's like my clear equivalent without clearing it.
Okay. They won't pull up like the orange.
It shouldn't. Okay. But that's my point right there. Is I think we're going to be in trouble if I do the whole car and then I start pulling up vinyl. Or paint, yeah. So there's nothing else that's painted orange. Let's just go back to the basics, start over. And that's the beauty of this channel, is like, that's what I try to tell everybody is, I don't know always what I'm doing, and I try to use the internet as a guide and then what other people tell me, but this is just a learning experience. I'm not a body shop guy, I'm not a vinyl guy or anything else like that. So I'm literally trying to figure it out. Hopefully through my mistakes and my experiences, maybe it's a little bit easier for the rest of you guys.
So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run out, pick up some more chemical strippers. This will get chemically stripped. Like look here, like someone painted before me, and look at this black paint. So someone painted this black, which it is technically supposed to be black, but it's peeling up. So the car is just a hodgepodge of BS, like people doing shit the wrong way, and I don't want to be the next person in line doing it the wrong way.
Let's just take it down.
Yeah.
Start over.
All right, so let's see if this has made any difference. Yes, I don't have a glove on. Yeah. See what I mean, guys? The product, it's got to be just right, but when it's just right, life's a lot easier. That looks a lot better than that. See what I mean? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep scraping this because none of y'all want to see that happening for the next 30 minutes to an hour. I wouldn't either. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep scraping, and when I come back, we'll talk some. Updates. All right, this is where we're at, guys. So I've got all these kind of things here plugged because we need to kind of degrease, wash the car. I also want to get all up in here, make sure anywhere that's going to be wrapped is nice and clean. I'm also going to get all this redone, repainted, stuff like that. Not a big deal. Got the exhaust lowered a decent bit. Working back here to finish this up. That's all getting body filled and smoothed out. All that's nice and smooth. That's going to wrap nicely. All this is done. I've got the fuel door off, super easy to do. I still need to get in here and clean up a little bit more. We'll take the screws out of there and tighten all that up. That's all plugged. We're not gonna spray too much here, but it's just there to protect as necessary. Same thing, plugged. Doing last little bits of like quality assurance checks. So anywhere that needs work, I'll show you. I still have a couple on the roof, not a big deal. Yeah, see, so we've still got a few over there to finish. So we're gonna get all that tightened up, cleaned up. The front valance is almost prepped, so we're getting the last of the little bit of rock chip, stuff like that taken care of. And then I'm gonna show you guys how to install these. I already did a mock fit up. It actually fits pretty darn well. So I wanna show a lot of you how to do that. It's really not that bad. All right, so the car is cleaned for the most part. And all that's done, looking good. And over here, I put the fenders back on, but of course when we wrap and stuff, the fenders will come off. You'll see it again. It looks good. Same thing under here. So we're making real good progress. I'm actually really happy. Got a wet sand up here. We had to fix a couple spots. And it's not quite smooth enough to accept vinyl, so this just needs to be slightly wet sanded. Of course, there's dust on it already, dude. And then we got the garage cleaned and hosed out, but overall, it's not bad.